Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News, an Indian perspective on All India Radio. This is Abhineet Shukla and with me is Manoj Singh Rana bringing glimpses of the major developments of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment and more. The headlines. India and European Union relaunch negotiations for India-EU Free Trade Agreement after over 8 years. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar chairs Parliamentary Consultative Committee meeting on Sri Lanka, says there was unanimous support to stand with our neighbour in this difficult time. Polio immunization 2022 to begin from tomorrow in 11 states and union territories. 2 people killed and several trapped in a Gurudwara in Afghanistan after 2 blasts rocked Kabul this morning. New Delhi expresses concern, says closely monitoring the situation. First batch of Hajj pilgrims leave today for Makkah and Medina from embarkation point in Mumbai. India and Bangladesh to hold first Fiscal Joint Consultative Commission meeting in New Delhi tomorrow. Indian women's hockey team beat Argentina 4-3 in FIH Women's Hockey Pro League tournament at Rotterdam. And in Indonesia Open Super Badminton Tournament semi-final match, India's HS Pranoy loses to China's Zhao Junpeng 16-21, 15-21. After a 9-year lull, India and European are to relaunch negotiations for India-EU Free Trade Agreement. Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal and Valdis Dombrovskis, Executive Vice President of the European Commission, have also announced the launch of negotiations for an Investment Protection Agreement and a Geographical Indicators GI Agreement at a joint event at the EU headquarters at Brussels. Among the most significant FTAs for India, as EU is its second largest trading partner, India-EU merchandise trade registered an all-time high value of $116.36 billion in 2021-22 with a year-on-year growth of 43.5%. The Delhi visit of the European Commission President Ms. Ursula von der Leyen in April this year and Prime Minister Narendra Modi's recent visit to Europe accelerated the FTA discussions and helped in defining a clear roadmap for the negotiations. There will also be discussions on resolving the market access issues which are impeding the bilateral trade. The first round of negotiations for all the 3 agreements will be held from 27th of June to the 1st of July in New Delhi. Earlier this year, India concluded FTAs with Australia and the UAE in a record time. The FTA talks with Canada and the UK are also underway. The FTA negotiations are part of India's broader strategy to forge balanced trade agreements with key economies and revamp existing trade pacts to improve trade and investment. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar today chaired a Parliamentary Consultative Committee meeting on the situation in Sri Lanka. After the meeting, in a tweet, he said, "A good discussion held in a positive atmosphere on various issues and India's role." Dr. Jaishankar said there was unanimous support on the need to stand with our neighbour in this difficult time.
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and his Vietnamese counterpart, Mr. Bui Thanh Son, launched the joint logo for the celebration of 50 years of the India-Vietnam diplomatic relations. The logo was launched in an event on the sideline of the special ASEAN-India Foreign Ministers meeting in New Delhi. The External Affairs Ministry said that the logo has been selected jointly by the two sides through a contest open for nationals of both the countries. The image represents long-standing friendship between India and Vietnam, symbolically through a peacock and a crane, the birds of the national importance in the two countries respectively. 2 people have died and several trapped in a Gurudwara in Afghanistan's capital Kabul after 2 blasts rocked the city this morning. According to agency reports, 2 blasts took place near the 2 gates of Gurudwara Dashmesh Pita Sahib Ji, Karte Parwan, Kabul. Afghanistan's Interior Ministry spokesperson Abdul Nafi Thakur told the media 1 Sikh devotee and an Afghan guard perished in the blast. Reports said there were several devotees in the Gurudwara during the blast and some managed to escape and have been sent to a hospital nearby. However, the overall number of casualties inside the Gurudwara are not yet known, they said. The area is densely populated and is a centre for the Afghan Hindu and Sikh communities.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed shock over the cowardly terrorist attack on the Karte Parwan Gurudwara in Kabul. In a tweet, Mr. Modi condemned the barbaric attack and prayed for the safety and well-being of the devotees. The first batch of Hajj pilgrims left today for Makkah and Medina from embarkation point in Mumbai. Union Minister for Minorities Affairs Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi was present on the occasion. He said that Indian Hajj pilgrims should pray for happiness and prosperity for the entire humankind and should be kept safe from all kinds of disasters. In the first batch of pilgrims, 410 are from Maharashtra, which include 207 men and 203 women. Nearly 8,000 pilgrims will leave for Hajj from Mumbai embarkation point this time. Mr. Naqvi said that Modi government has brought many improvements, including emphasis on online arrangement. He also informed that a total of 79,237 pilgrims are going to Hajj from India, which include nearly 50% of women.
Global financial watchdog, the Financial Action Task Force, FATF, has said that Pakistan will continue to stay on its grey list, and a final decision to remove it from the list will be taken after an on-site verification visit by the Paris-based body. This decision was announced yesterday after the conclusion of the 4-day FATF plenary in Berlin, where delegates from governments around the world and partner organizations including the UN and the IMF discussed key money laundering and terrorist financing issues. The FATF in a statement said at its June 2022 plenary, the global financial watchdog made the initial determination that Pakistan has substantially completed its 2 action plans covering 34 items and warrants. An on-site visit to verify the implementation of Pakistan's anti-money laundering and counter-terrorist financing reforms has begun and is being sustained, and that the necessary political commitment remains in place to sustain implementation and improvement in the future. Addressing the media at the conclusion of the plenary, FATF President Marcus Player said that the FATF will now conduct an on-site visit to check that the reforms undertaken by Islamabad are in place and can be sustained into the future. It said the FATF will continue to monitor the COVID-19 situation and conduct an on-site visit at the earliest possible date. Pakistan has been on the grey list of Paris-based global money laundering and terrorist financing watchdog for deficiencies in its counter-terror financing and anti-money laundering regimes since June 2018. This grey listing has adversely affected its imports, exports, remittances and limited access to international lending. In today's hotspot section, we bring you glimpses of preparations in the run-up to the International Day of Yoga 2022 abroad. Inputs from PBSC Beijing, Dhaka, Colombo and Dubai. The Indian Embassy in Beijing organized the International Day of Yoga celebrations at the India House, which was attended by Indian diaspora, a large number of Chinese yoga enthusiasts and people from other nationalities, including diplomats in Beijing. India's ambassador to China, Pradeep Kumar Rawat, and Deputy Ambassador Dr. Aquino Vimal took part in the yoga event held at the India House here. Ambassador Rawat said, "COVID is time killer and yoga is COVID killer," as he highlighted the essentiality of yoga in the pandemic era in dealing with mental anxiety in a world where timelines for many events and projects have lost their sanctity.
Has become a mass movement for health globally. Here in China, yoga is enjoying surging popularity as well. Our friends who have gathered here and connected with us virtually are the prime example of this. The COVID-19 pandemic has made us realize the overarching importance of health in our lives, and yoga is probably the best medium for being healthy. Recently, when Chinese friends mentioned to me that COVID is time killer and yoga is COVID killer, while this was said to me jokingly, but it conveyed great wisdom. Due to COVID-related disruptions and uncertainty, we have all seen how timelines for various projects and events have lost their sacrosanct meaning. Similarly, mental anxiety brought about due to such uncertainty requires cultivation of a mindset which is patient and is in harmony with our surroundings.
He also outlined various events conducted by the embassy ahead of this year's International Day of Yoga, as well as the digital campaigns that included asana series, photo and video competitions. to celebrate the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, more than 75 yoga schools across China, besides Indian consulates in Shanghai, Guangzhou and Hong Kong, were also connected online to the Saturday's event at the India House in Beijing. A number of Chinese yoga teachers from various yoga schools took part in the hour-long yoga session. Indian Yoga Guru N.K. Singh from Manipur conducted the common yoga protocol to a gathering of more than 500 yoga lovers and those who connected online to inhabit the common consciousness of yoga.
I feel very honored to be the one who lead this International Day of Yoga, and I'm very happy that this much people, around 700 people, come here to join. At the same time, it connects with 75 centers all over China. So it is a big event, and I think it is very successfully organized by the Indian Embassy, and I'm very thankful to everyone who attended, and I feel that through this we will spread huge positive about this yoga to this community.
Other prominent Indian yoga gurus also joined the event at the India House. Let's listen what they have to say about the event and the International Yoga Day.
Today we celebrate 8th International Day of Yoga in Embassy of India, Beijing, and more than 500 students attended this event and they all loved it. At the same time, 75 yoga institutes all over the China attended through the online, as this is a 75 Independence Day of India, 75 years of independence of India, and I wish you all happy Independence Day of Yoga.
We are here in the Indian House, Beijing, China. We are celebrating 8th International Yoga celebration. Our Indian independence has 75 years, so we are connecting our International Yoga Day to the 75-year celebration together. So we connected online around 75 schools all around China, and also offline we get more than 500 students who join here to celebrate yoga. Today yoga is very successful and we enjoy a lot.
The International Day of Yoga is celebrated with enthusiasm in China, as yoga was promoted as a sport and fitness regime is very popular, with numerous events since its inception by the United Nations in 2014. Indian yoga gurus have played an instrumental role in promoting this Indian heritage to the masses in China. Another big event will be held by the Indian Consulate in Guangzhou to celebrate the International Yoga Day celebrations on June the 21st. The Indian Consulate in Shanghai will also hold another big mass yoga event on the 26th of June. Yoga associations all over China were expected to hold the events to mark the International Yoga Day on June the 21st. A special highlight of the Saturday's event was the stainless steel sculpture of Dream Yoga crafted by Beijing-based Indian artist Gurjinder Kaur, representing the artist's childhood reminiscence of yoga, which was kept amidst the yoga gathering at the India House. Considering the popularity of yoga, China has established a yoga college in Yunnan Minju University in Kunming, the capital of southwest China's Yunnan province, in joint collaboration with India. Last month, the Indian Embassy organized an office yoga session at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization headquarters in Beijing. SCO Secretary General Zhang Min and Ambassador Rawat, along with SCO diplomats, attended this specially designed session in yoga postures for office goers. Many other yoga events have been organized for diplomatic corps in Beijing, and a special yoga session on Mother's Day.
Indian diplomatic officers in Sri Lanka have also lined up events to celebrate International Day of Yoga with the participation of the Sri Lankan leadership across different parts of Sri Lanka to mark the 8th International Day of Yoga on 21st of June 2022. An innovative program named Guardian Ring, under which participation of yoga enthusiasts from different countries linked to the movement of the sun from east to the west, will be the hallmark of the 8th edition of International Day of Yoga. Guardian Ring would relay yoga streaming event which will capture and weave together digital feed of International Day of Yoga programs organized by Indian missions across the world. The High Commission of India at Colombo, in collaboration with the Ministry of Culture, Government of Sri Lanka, is holding a mega public event under the theme Yoga for Humanity at the Independence Square in Colombo from 6 am onwards to mark the day. Similarly, the Consulate General of India in Jaffna, Consulate General of India in Hambantota, and the Assistant High Commission of India in Kandy will also hold similar events in the occasion. It may be recalled that the United Nations General Assembly adopted a resolution piloted by India in 2014 declaring June 21st each year as the International Day of Yoga. The resolution was supported by more than 170 countries, with Sri Lanka being one of the co-sponsors of the resolution. Yoga forms a part of shared heritage of India and Sri Lanka.
The Indian Embassy will celebrate the International Day of Yoga at the Sheikh Zayed Stadium of Cricket. The event is celebrated in partnership with the Abu Dhabi Sports Council and the Sheikh Zayed Stadium Cricket. This is the largest event of this kind to be held in Abu Dhabi ever since the International Yoga Day was introduced in 2015. Sheikh Nahyan bin Mubarak Al Nahyan, UAE Minister of Tolerance and Coexistence, will be the chief guest for this event, and over 5,000 people are expected to attend the event. The Consulate General of India at Dubai is organising the 8th International Yoga Day at the World Trade Center on June the 19th from 5 to 7 p.m. The event is special in the sense that it is exclusive to women and is open to all children and ladies above 10 years. Indian Consulate is partnering with the Indian chapter of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India in Dubai. The International Yoga Day 2022 celebrations began in the capital city of UAE, Abu Dhabi, on June the 15th with a helipad session under the strawberry supermoon. The said program, Yoga Fest, is being conducted by the VPS Healthcare for the public across its facilities in Abu Dhabi, Al Ain, Dubai and Sharjah. Over 2,000 people are expected to attend the sessions and events across the three Emirates on a weekly basis as they run up towards the International Day of Yoga on June the 21st. Apart from its weekly yoga sessions, VPS Healthcare and Burjeel Hospitals will associate with the Indian Embassy and Abu Dhabi Sports Council to organize a mass yoga event that is expected to be attended by more than 6,000 people.
Indira Gandhi Cultural Center of the High Commission of India in Dhaka is also preparing for International Day of Yoga on 21st of June. Large number of yoga students take part in training program regularly. Popularity of yoga has increased immensely in Bangladesh over the last few years. Yoga teacher Rumana Akhtar narrates her journey of adopting yoga for personal reasons and then spreading its light to young people of Bangladesh.
When I started yoga, that time I was sick and I felt like I had to take more medicine. But my doctor one day advised me, why don't you do yoga so you can put off your medicine one side. I started not taking medicine and doing yoga every day, and after 6 months I found myself completely better than before, and after that I found myself completely okay. The benefit what I have received from yoga, I should share with my Bangladeshi people that yoga really helps us, and there are lots of benefits from mental and body reunion, and free from all the disease and free from all the mental trauma. And then I started first volunteer classes in my office. I worked with embassy, and then I started volunteer classes with my friends, and I started class here. But right now they are very familiar in yoga.
Growing popularity of yoga in Bangladesh has attracted large number of people to take it up as a profession. Kushal Roy Joy is a prominent yoga teacher from Bangladesh, has started a yoga teachers training program in Dhaka. He and his students talk about the yoga training program with Prasar Bharati correspondent in Dhaka.
Day by day, yoga is very popular in Bangladesh. This is our second yoga teachers training course here. 60 people are enrolled here. After this course, there are a lot of scope for yoga teaching techniques and others. जो लोग योगा में प्रोफेशन में आना चाहते हैं उनके लिए योगा टीचर्स ट्रेनिंग कोर्स का कंडक्ट हमने किया है, जहां बांग्लादेश में बहुत स्कोप है. नॉट ओनली ढाका के अलावा जो बहुत सारे जो हमारा डिस्ट्रिक्ट है, डिवीजन में है, उसमें भी योगा का बहुत प्रचार हो रहा है.
यहाँ पे इतना सुंदर एक परिवेश में हम लोग टीचर्स ट्रेनिंग कोर्स करने के अपॉर्चुनिटी हम लोगों को मिल रहे हैं. मेरे हिसाब में ये गोल्डन अपॉर्चुनिटी. तो अगर हम लोगों को पॉजिटिविटी चाहिए लाइफ में, काम एंड कूल रहना चाहिए, धीर शांति चाहिए, स्लो एजिंग चाहिए, वेलनेस चाहिए, वी मस्ट प्रैक्टिस योगा.
This is All India Radio giving you the world news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts.
China launched its third aircraft carrier named Fujian yesterday, the country's most advanced as well as the first fully domestically built naval vessel, as an aggressive Beijing sought to project its power in the strategic Indo-Pacific region. Official media reported that the launching ceremony of the ship Fujian was held at the Shanghai's Jiangnan shipyard. Xu Qiliang, a member of the political bureau of the ruling Communist Party of China's Central Committee and vice chairman of the Central Military Commission, attended the launch ceremony. The launch of the ship was delayed by 2 months due to the COVID lockdown of Shanghai. It was due to be launched on the 23rd of April, around the 73rd anniversary of the People's Liberation Army Navy. China's first aircraft carrier, the Liaoning, was a refit of the Soviet-era ship commissioned in 2012, followed by indigenously built second aircraft carrier Shandong in 2019. India and Bangladesh will hold the first physical joint consultative commission meeting in New Delhi tomorrow. The 7th meeting of the JCC will be co-chaired by External Affairs Minister Dr. S.J. Shankar and his Bangladesh counterpart Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen. The previous meet was held virtually in 2020. The External Affairs Ministry said the JCC will review the entire gamut of bilateral relations, including cooperation in the wake of COVID-19, border management and security, trade and investment, connectivity, energy, water resources, development partnership, and regional and multilateral issues.
Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has sent a gift of Bangladeshi mangoes for President Ramnath Kovind and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. A consignment of 1,000 kilograms of Amrapali variety of mangoes has been sent to the President and Prime Minister each as a mark of friendship and gesture of goodwill. The mangoes were sent to the dignitaries through the diplomatic channel yesterday. Last year also, Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina had sent Haribhanga, a variety of mangoes, to President Ramnath Kovind and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The Foreign Ministry of Bangladesh has denied any foreign funding in the construction of the Padma Bridge project. In a statement issued yesterday, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs MOFA categorically asserted that the Padma multipurpose bridge has been entirely funded by the government of Bangladesh. The MOFA said that some quarters are trying to portray that the bridge, which is to be inaugurated by Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina on the 25th of June, has been constructed with foreign funds and is a part of the Belt and Road Initiative of China. The bridge will help connect 19 southwestern districts of Bangladesh with the rest of the country. It will fulfill the long-cherished dream of the nation, resulting in collective prosperity, socio-economic development of Bangladesh, as well as enhanced regional connectivity. The 6.15-kilometer long Padma Bridge is the largest bridge in Bangladesh. The estimated cost of the project is over $3.8 billion. The work on the bridge started in 2014.
The first sub-national immunization day of 2022 for administering polio vaccine drops will start from tomorrow in 11 states and union territories. These include Bihar, Chandigarh, Delhi, Gujarat, Haryana, Jharkhand, Maharashtra, Punjab, Rajasthan, Uttarakhand and West Bengal. During this polio campaign, around 3.9 lakh children below the age of 5 are targeted to be given polio drops through booths, house-to-house, mobile and transit teams. The Health Ministry said that the government has also introduced the injectable inactivated polio virus vaccine to provide additional protection to children in its routine immunization program. The ministry said India was certified polio-free in March 2014, but the risk of wild polio virus importation or the emergence of vaccine-derived polio viruses persists until global eradication, which highlights the need for maintaining high population immunity and sensitive surveillance in the country. The ministry said that India is making efforts to protect its children from more and more vaccine-preventable diseases by introducing additional vaccines under the Universal Immunization Program. The ministry stressed it is important that all vaccines also reach every last child in the country. The ministry urged all parents to get their children below the age of 5 vaccinated against polio. The Indian women's hockey team defeated Argentina in the FIH Women's Hockey Pro League tournament by 4-3. In the stipulated time, both the teams scored 3 goals, but in shootout, India struck 2-1. The first match was played at Rotterdam in Netherlands. The second match will be scheduled tomorrow at the same venue. The Indian team is currently placed at the third position in the points table with 22 points in 10 games, while the Argentinian team is at the top of the table with 38 points in 14 matches.
India's last man standing, HS Pranoy, lost to China's Zhao Jinping in straight sets 16-21, 15-21 in the semi-final of Indonesia Open 2022 today. Ace shuttler HS Pranoy was keeping India's hopes alive at the tournament by reaching the men's singles semi-finals with a convincing win over Denmark's Rasmus Jemke in the quarter-finals. Zhao will face Victor Axelsen of Denmark in the final. Now let us take a look at the major developments around the world as reported in the foreign press. Now let's have a look at the press reports on Bangladesh. The flood situation in Sylhet deteriorated further on Saturday as heavy rain poured for more than an hour. The power supply has been disrupted and the patients at the Osmani Hospital in Sylhet are suffering great hardship, reports Pratham Alo. Bangladesh Meteorological Department BMD on Saturday predicted light to moderate rain or thundershowers accompanied by temporary gusty wind at different parts of the country in 24 hours, reports Dhaka Tribune. India and Bangladesh will be holding the 7th meeting of the Joint Consultative Commission JCC in New Delhi on Sunday. The JCC will be co-chaired by Dr. S. Jaishankar, External Affairs Minister of India, and A.K. Abdul Momen, Foreign Minister of Bangladesh, reports Daily Sun.
Now let's have a look at the press reports on China. It is widely reported that China has once again ended up defending terrorists without any logic or explanation, as it has put a hold on US-India joint proposal to list Pakistan-based terrorist Abdul Rahman Makki as a global terrorist under UNSC sanctions. Experts said China has again politicized such an important issue of countering terrorism, and its negative agenda against India stands exposed again as seen in the past in case of listing of Masood Azhar as a global terrorist when China repeatedly put technical holds on UN resolutions. Prasar Bharati Beijing reports that the 14th summit of BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa will be hosted by Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing on June the 23rd via video link. The Foreign Ministry announced here on Friday. China is this year's chair of the BRICS.
Now let's have a look at the press reports from Afghanistan. The Tolo News writes that Ministry of Interior Affairs spokesperson Abdul Nafeh Takoor said at least one member of the Islamic Emirate forces and an Afghan Hindu national was killed in the incident and 7 people were wounded. He added that the attackers were killed. Vakhtar News Agency report adds that the attackers first targeted the temple guards with hand grenades to force their way to inside the building. The attack immediately opened fire and 7 people from Sikh community injured. Kabul police said that the attack on the Gurudwara ended with all the assailants shot dead by security forces. A quick look at the headlines once again. India and European Union launch negotiations for India-EU Free Trade Agreement after over 8 years. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar chairs Parliamentary Consultative Committee meeting on Sri Lanka, says there was unanimous support to stand with our neighbour in this difficult time. Polio immunization 2022 to begin from tomorrow in 11 states and union territories. 2 people killed and several trapped in Gurudwara in Afghanistan after 2 blasts rocked Kabul this morning. New Delhi expresses concern, says closely monitoring the situation. First batch of Hajj pilgrims leaves today for Makkah and Medina from embarkation point in Mumbai. India and Bangladesh to hold first fiscal joint consultative commission meeting in New Delhi tomorrow. Indian women's hockey team beat Argentina 4-3 in FIH Women's Hockey Pro League tournament at Rotterdam. And in Indonesia Open Super Badminton Tournament semi-final match, India's HS Pranoy loses to China's Zhao Jinping 16-21, 15-21. And now before we end, let us listen to Mahatma Gandhi's favorite bhajan Vaishnav Jan by artists from Germany. And with that, we end this bulletin. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.